Good morning. It's Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Mary Strong. We'll get to your top stories in just a moment, but first let's check in with meteorologist Jerry Steffen in the Weather Center for a look at what's ahead in your forecast. Jerry?
Oh, let's start with some beautiful colors on the horizon here. This is the Walter Clark 111 cam. We got some blues, pinks and yellows. Ooh, that looks nice, doesn't it? Well, today we're going to see temps slightly above 100 degrees today. Drier air in place, but winds will play an issue. We'll talk about that. Full forecast on 7-day on the way.
All right, Jerry, thanks. A Desert Hot Springs woman died on Sunday after being hit by a car. The Riverside County coroner says 67-year-old Laura Harker was hit on her e-bike while on Pearson Boulevard. Investigators with CHP says Harker was hit by a Ford pickup at around 7 in the morning on Sunday. The driver reportedly did not notice Harker and hit the end of the e-bike. Harker was transported to Desert Regional Medical Center where she later succumbed to her injuries. And just a reminder for La Quinta residents this morning, the traffic lights at the intersection of Jefferson Street and Highway 111 will operate as stop signs until the afternoon. It's scheduled from now until 10 o'clock in the morning so crews can repair those lights. The city says to expect some delays there. Cathedral City is looking for local artists to help design a sculpture for Esperanza Park. From now until November 6th, artists can submit their designs for a chance to be chosen. The top 3 finalists will receive $1,000 prize, and the winner will be given a budget of $100,000 to make the piece. The new park sits near the Dream Homes neighborhood off San Diego Drive. Downtown Indio is continuing to expand. NBC Palm Springs' Brett Rosen spoke with business owners and city officials on the continuing effort. Take a look.
Here in downtown Indio, Everbloom Coffee just opened up their second location this past weekend. It was only 5 years ago that this business was just a pop-up coffee cart. However, now it's part of the revitalization of this downtown area. Downtown Indio is still growing, and Everbloom Coffee is the next business to be a part of the revitalization of the downtown area. Co-owner Matthew Ortega says at one point the coffee house was just an idea. He didn't know what it would eventually bloom into.
It was really just a dream that myself and my business partner EJ had, and we started out with the idea to do a coffee cart probably almost 10 years ago. And so we started back in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So February 28th, 2020 was our first day serving. We were doing like a pop-up, and about 2 weeks later, everything shut down. And then we just kind of continued with the cart concept. And by summer of 2020, we were so busy.
Indio City officials say the importance of the revitalization of the downtown area is on the shoulders of making sure locally owned businesses are at the forefront. And Indio's Director of Economic Development, Miguel Ramirez Cornejo, says it was a no-brainer to have Everbloom Coffee be a part of the revitalization plan.
When I spoke to Matt and EJ, they wanted this to be a whole community type of feel where people can feel to come and have a place to hang out, a third place. What this means for downtown Indio is more people coming back, the revitalization continues.
Everbloom's first location is on Highway 111. It's not super spacious, yet customers still love them.
I feel like the baristas there are really cool. The vibe overall seems really nice. It's very calm.
I think it's a really great thing that they expanded, and especially in this area because it is getting to be really popular. And I think just with COD right down the street, a lot of the students are able to come here and to do their work comfortably.
Matthew Ortega says what makes Everbloom so different is the personal relationships that they have with their customers.
That focus on making someone feel invited, welcomed in, warm, embraced in a lot of ways, I think is a big part of what sets us apart.
Now, as of now, this new location for Everbloom Coffee is only open Friday through Sunday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. for this month. However, when speaking to the owner, after this month, the plan is simple: be open during the weekdays with hopefully extended hours. Here in Indio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
And let's take a live look now from our Agua Caliente casino camera in Palm Springs. Time now to check back in with Jerry in the Weather Center for a look at your forecast. Jerry?
I got a few changes coming up over the next few days. Right now, we have 79 degrees in Palm Springs under clear skies, 33% relative humidity. That will dry out more than yesterday. That'll be close to 10%. 76 at Thermal, 34% relative humidity. Similar numbers there. As far as radar, yeah, nothing happening over the southwest. Clear skies, nothing but sunshine for the valley. And some of the temps right now include 67 degrees at Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, 70 degrees, 80, Thousand Palms, 83 at Indio, San Gorgonio Pass, 72 degrees at Cabazon, 62 at Banning. So we do have a disturbance. It'll be well to the north, and it'll stay to the north, but the pressure gradient tightens up today, and those onshore winds will become a little gusty in the wind-prone areas later today. Because of that, wind advisory posted begins at 2 o'clock today, includes the very west end of the Coachella Valley, San Gorgonio Pass area mountains, parts of the high desert. That's through about midnight tonight. Dew points dropped since yesterday. We had around 50-degree dew points today. Those dews will be closer to the upper 30s, lower 40s this afternoon. And like I mentioned, around 10% relative humidity. And the numbers come down from yesterday. So below normal temps, just above 100 degrees, 102 in Palm Springs under sunshine. Same for Indio, 103 La Quinta, 104 Rancho Mirage. Comfort Air 3-day will go below 100 degrees, 97 degrees under all sunshine Wednesday, 94 on Thursday. I like the way the numbers are going. Full forecast, and look at that 7-day on the way.
All right, Jerry, thanks. The City of Palm Springs is holding a ribbon cutting today at their temporary location at Rimrock Plaza. The ceremony is at 9:45 this morning. Mayor Ron DeHart will give a speech followed by the ribbon cutting at 10. This location will serve as a temporary spot for the library for the next 3 years while the permanent location undergoes renovations. All services are still available at this temporary spot. If you're planning to visit the Palm Springs Aerial Tramway, they are closed for annual maintenance. They shut down the tram yesterday, and maintenance will end on October 13th. The city of Desert Hot Springs is halfway through an 8-year housing plan and now is looking to local residents to help shape the next phase. NBC Palm Springs' Antonio Marquez has that story for us.
That's right. The city of Desert Hot Springs wants to hear from the community in order to create better housing for its current and future residents. The city of Desert Hot Springs has a housing element that is part of an 8-year plan for the city.
It serves as a strategic roadmap to ensure that housing opportunities are available for all residents of Desert Hot Springs.
The city has 3,873 units for housing that are allocated by the state, which are mostly affordable housing.
Most of those units are what we call market rate units. We also have 1,104 affordable housing units. And so where we're at now, at 451 affordable housing units, we're almost at the halfway point, 50% of the meeting that affordable housing goal.
Construction in the city has remained strong, and the city has created more programs to offer housing for those residents that are looking to buy for the first time.
Programs have been very successful. We've had 13 households within the city become first-time home buyers and approximately 8 to take advantage of the home enhancement program.
And now the city wants to hear from the residents.
You can submit written comments to me by email, tclark@cityofdhs.org. They can also attend the Planning Commission meeting tomorrow on Tuesday, September 9th at 6 p.m. at City Hall here at 11999 Palm Drive. And they can provide feedback at a future City Council meeting scheduled for October 7th.
Remember that you don't have to attend tomorrow's meeting in person. You can also express your opinion by email and by going to the council meeting on October 7th. Antonio Marquez, NBC Palm Springs.
It's time now for Where in the Valley, where we show you a photo of a location somewhere in the Coachella Valley and you guess where it is. So let me show you the photo. Take a look at this gorgeous place. Do you know where this is? You'll have a little time to think about it. We'll reveal this special location at the end of our broadcast, and I'll give you a little hint before we get there. Coming up next on your morning news, as the temperatures get warmer, we reach for more sugary products, and that has some scientists very concerned. We've got that story for you coming up next. But a little later on, David Daniel takes a look at the newest movie based on a Stephen King novel. Let's head outside once again. This time we're taking a live look at your Agua Caliente casino camera in Rancho Mirage. As Jerry mentioned earlier, we've got a wind advisory today. He'll break down your full forecast straight ahead.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
It's time now for your Health Today, brought to you by Inland Empire Health Plan. Today, nearly half of people with diabetes around the world don't know they have it. That's according to a new study that found 44% of people aged 15 and older with diabetes are undiagnosed. The research looked at data from more than 200 countries and territories. The study showed that younger people are much less likely to be diagnosed, and higher income countries are doing a better job of identifying the disease. Experts say early diagnosis is key because undiagnosed diabetes can lead to long-term problems. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved large-scale human trials of pig kidney transplants. The biotech company eGenesis says its gene-edited pigs are bred so their organs are more compatible with humans. The company uses technology that lets scientists remove a gene that would normally trigger immediate rejection. The approval comes after several experimental transplants in the U.S. where patients with no other options receive pig kidneys and even pig hearts. Right now, more than 100,000 Americans are waiting for an organ donation, most of them kidneys. A new study shows as temperatures heat up, more Americans are choosing to drink and eat more foods with sugar. Researchers at the Cardiff University tracked a number of American families and looked at the foods they bought between 2004 and 2019. The researchers then compared the food people bought with the weather outside. Hotter weather makes bodies lose more water, and researchers say they saw an increase in people choosing products like sodas, juice, and ice cream as temperatures warmed. Scientists warn that if temperatures continue to warm, people will likely increase their sugar consumption by nearly 3 grams a day. September is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. It's an inherited disease where red blood cells become abnormally shaped, which can affect blood flow through the body. Those who have the disease depend on blood transfusions for life-saving relief, and the American Red Cross says a new trend is strengthening the blood supply for these patients. Mandy Gaither talks to a woman who lives with sickle cell disease about why this trend is critical for her survival.
At just 4 years old, Kelly Bernard Igwe says a blood clot in her brain caused her to suffer a stroke,
which resulted in a limp, walking with a limp on the left side of my body.
Born with sickle cell disease, sometimes called sickle cell anemia, she's one of more than 100,000 Americans whose blood cells sickle into a crescent-like shape, causing blood flow disruptions to the body. Those who have this disease depend on blood transfusions for survival. For Bernard Igwe, it's a way to avoid having another stroke.
I think I've received over 800 transfusions in my lifetime.
More than 90% of those affected by sickle cell disease are non-Hispanic, Black, or African American, and about 1 in every 365 African American babies are born with it. Each may require blood transfusions throughout their lifetime. The American Red Cross says blood donors who are Black are almost 3 times more likely than other donors to be a compatible match for these patients, and blood donations from Black Americans have recently rebounded, reversing a concerning decline thanks to the organization's Sickle Cell Initiative, which has collected over 7,300 pints of blood since 2021 through drives at historically Black colleges and universities, benefiting patients like Bernard Igwe, who's now a registered nurse with a doctorate.
With the blood donation, I'm able to live a normal life.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
If you'd like more information on the stories we're airing in our broadcast today, you can go to our new website on NBCPalmSprings.com. That's where you're going to find our top stories and breaking news right there on our homepage. And our newsroom tab, it's got our stories organized by date. Let's head over to Jerry in the Weather Center for a look at what's ahead in your forecast. Jerry.
Okay, we're checking the weather headlines today. It looks like the papers are stuck, but we could get gusty winds a little later on today. Wind advisories have been posted for areas of Southern California. Also, we'll see the numbers back off as far as high temps into the double digits, and we'll check the tropics. It's all coming up next. Keep it here.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Clear skies right now in our Agua Caliente Casino Cam view, and totally clear skies a little later on today. Yesterday, that will be the hottest day so far this week because the numbers begin to back off. 107 yesterday in Palm Springs, 104 the normal, and we'll see subtracting about maybe 5 degrees today for the highs. 43 at Big Bear, 80 Desert Hot Springs and Indio, 82,000 Palms right now, 79 at the airport. Winds a little variable right now, but they will pick up out of the west, and that'll be a key, I guess, word in our forecast forecast today, the wind. As far as clouds, it's all to the north, all part of a system that's moving its way in that area. Checking radar, of course, clear skies, nothing happening basically over Southern California or the southwest. But widening out the radar scope here, you can see some rain beginning to move into Northern California, all part of a low pressure center, which is moving its way to the east. Again, that low will stay to the north of us, so no rain for us. But between that low and a high pressure center to the southeast, the pressure gradient tightens up. So we get wind out of that combination. 101 to 105, the numbers come down a little bit, slightly below normal temps under totally clear skies, and drier air begins to move in. That's kind of good news, right? A little bit of humidity yesterday, more so the day before. But winds today will play a role in our forecast. 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds at the San Gorgonio Pass Desert Hot Springs, with gusts getting close to the 50s later today. Again, this afternoon and evening. Yeah, a little gusty in the wind-prone areas along and north of I-10 too. Keep that in mind. The winds do back off on Wednesday, but still a little gusty late in the day. That subsides even more by the end of the week. But a wind advisory in effect for the west end of the Coachella Valley, San Gorgonio Pass, area mountains and parts of the high desert. That expires at 1 o'clock early tomorrow morning. Now, surface moisture begins to dry out. Today will be a dry day compared to the last couple of days. In fact, around 10% relative humidity later this afternoon. The numbers do move up a little bit, but still relatively dry through the end of the work week. As far as rain with the system, yeah, it all stays to the north today. Could get some rain around the Nevada Sierras. That's about it, but nothing really in Southern California. We stay rain-free and dry today. 102 for our high in Palm Springs under sunshine. Same for Thousand Palms in Indio. 103 at Palm Desert, so slightly below normal numbers there. 91 for high at Cabazon under sunshine. Almost 100 degrees at 29 Palms. Overnight lows, low to middle 70s under clear skies tonight. Tomorrow, that low slowly moves its way a little more to the east, and we may see some sprinkles along the San Diego coastline, but that's about it. And onshore winds a little gusty still in certain areas, wind-prone areas. So we move below 100 degrees for many of us in the valley tomorrow afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, lots of 97s and 98s. Subtract a few more degrees on Thursday, 94 for Palm Springs. Okay, Kiko's still out there. A former Category 4 hurricane. What's it doing now? Well, it's a tropical storm. 60-mile-an-hour winds moving its way to the west-northwest, should dissipate over the North Atlantic, but kicking up the waves around Hawaii. Okay, long-term forecast here. We could see a storm form, at least a tropical wave, around Acapulco, just off the coast of southern Mexico. You can see it beginning to develop. It meanders a little bit. This is the clock here. The 15th of September, the 16th, and it could turn into Mario, or hurricane. Now, this is interesting. This is an update. Narda could form too, and then the two begin to do a dance and kind of circulate around each other. But you can see they both fade out basically off the coast of the peninsula there. Okay, Comfort Air 70 forecast. 102, sunshine, drier air, gusty winds. Tomorrow, sunny. Still a little gusty in certain areas, but the numbers fall behind 100 degrees. And still double digits Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Hey there, a little break in the newscast. Have a little fun, test your brain. Hashtag holiday calendar pop quiz brought to you by One Coachella Valley. What's happening today? Tuesday, September 9th, 2025, International Sudoku Day. You play this popular numbers game?
I have not.
No. Okay.
I tried once and I was like, whoa, there's a lot going on here.
Well, September 9th was chosen to honor this logic-based puzzle because why?
Why?
Has a 9x9 grid. Today's the 9/9
that makes
calendar,
a lot
right?
of
September
sense.
9th. That's today, so maybe play a game, get into it. Also, National Ants on a Log Day. You have a child. Do you know what that is?
I've never
there we
made
go.
them for her, but they look really interesting. The ants are raisins, that's right.
Right, exactly. You got peanut butter
and
in
some
the
have
crevice of
chocolate
the
chips.
celery. Yeah, you can do other things, cream cheese, maybe nuts on the top. But yeah, the basic thing is to make it look like ants
It's
are
a
crawling
log.
along.
That's so cute.
Wonderful Weirdos Day. Let's take a look at the control room right now.
Jerry.
Yeah, there's an example.
There's a confused look in there.
There's
Nope.
an example. Yeah. A day to encourage people to embrace their uniqueness and to appreciate those who are weird.
Is that Weird Al?
Yes,
Oh,
Weird
look
Al
at him.
Yankovic. I like it. Also, California Admissions Day is today. Our state became the 31st United State in 1850. So California is 175 years old today.
Wow.
That's kind of a
Happy
major
B-Day.
milestone, I think. So
Yes.
yeah, California, our key word in the today's pop quiz. And let's go to question number 1. Here we go. The 2006 Red Hot Chili Peppers top 10 single, Danny California, tells the tale of a poor Southern girl who eventually lives in California, becoming a mother who lives a hard, fast, unsettled life. Aside from California, other states are mentioned in the song's lyrics like Alabama, Louisiana, Minnesota. Now, in the very first line of this Red Hot Chili Peppers song, the lyrics refer to this state. Is it A, Mississippi, B, Texas, C, Wisconsin?
I'm going to go Mississippi.
We're going to bring it up a little bit. Maybe just listen, maybe get a hint. You know the song, right?
Yes.
Okay, you say it's A, Mississippi.
Yep.
Control room, A. Yeah, it has more of a lyrical feel to it, right? It kind of has that roll.
Yes.
Da-da-da-da-da-da, Mississippi. Yeah, it does fit. Now, not Texas or Wisconsin. Mississippi is the correct
Yay.
answer. Second California question. California, with a K, is a 1993 road thriller motion picture which tells the story of a journalist and his photographer girlfriend who travel cross country to research serial killings. The two unwittingly carpool with a psychopath, played by Brad Pitt, and his childlike girlfriend, Adele Corners, a kooky character played by this actress.
Ooh.
A, Christina Ricci. B, Dakota Fanning. C, Juliette Lewis. Guys, see California with a K? Yeah? No? No, you haven't? Okay. So guesses, I guess, are in form right now. I got a B. Who could it be?
It's a hesitant A.
Two B's and an A.
I'm going to go Juliette Lewis. She seems
Juliette
kooky
Lewis
to me.
is right.
Yeah,
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah. You got that one right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
100% over here.
100%.
Back in a bit.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who. Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Welcome back on this Tuesday, September 9th. I'm Mary Strong. Thanks so much for waking up with us this morning. Jerry's going to have your forecast coming up for just a few minutes, but first a look at some of the stories making headlines at this hour. California's minimum wage is set to rise once again, and it takes effect next year. Under state law, the Department of Finance reviews inflation each year to determine if workers should see an adjustment. This year, the department reported almost a 2.5% increase in the Consumer Price Index. That means starting January 1st, 2026, the state's minimum wage will go from $16.50 to $16.90 an hour. Some financial advisors are concerned about the increase in costs for small businesses across the state.
It's really painful because now the small business will have to pay additional to those employees. I know that's part of the requirement, but at the same time, they have to pay more in workers' comp, more in payroll taxes, more in disability, and that's actually will make this small business suffer more on their money.
State officials say this latest adjustment may feel modest, but it's another step to keep wages in line with the cost of living. A brush fire destroyed structures and injured 2 in the East County area of San Diego on Monday. The Cochise fire in Lakeside burned only 5 acres but destroyed 6 structures and prompted evacuations. Caltrans says one of the victims was treated for burns and the other for smoke inhalation. The blaze started north of Interstate 8 before its progress was stopped about 90 minutes later. The Supreme Court lifted a restriction on federal immigration stops in the Los Angeles area. The ruling overturns a lower court's finding that the impromptu immigration stops violated the Constitution's 4th Amendment, which protects against unlawful searches and seizures. The brief Supreme Court order did not explain the basis for the decision. But Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who is part of the conservative majority, wrote in a separate opinion that judges should not set immigration policy or decide enforcement priorities. President Trump is setting his sights on a crackdown in Chicago while a House committee released a suggestive birthday card that allegedly Trump sent to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein back in 2003. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest now from Washington.
Divided attention in Washington this morning as President Trump keeps his sights on crime and immigration. A first look at a birthday message he allegedly wrote in 2003 to the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein is grabbing headlines. It's a drawing of a woman's torso around an imagined conversation that reads in part, quote, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." The White House arguing it's a fake and not the president's signature, echoed by Republican lawmakers.
To me, it's just bogus. The whole thing is bogus right now.
President Trump has denied having anything to do with the letter first reported by the Wall Street Journal in July, prompting him to file a $10 billion defamation lawsuit. The House Oversight Committee released it Monday as part of a trove of subpoenaed Epstein documents.
The president now is walking into his own lie and cover-up.
The president focused instead on his immigration crackdown, with the Department of Homeland Security confirming it's launched a new ICE operation in Chicago, branded Operation Midway Blitz. No sign yet of a threatened National Guard deployment to crack down on crime.
We'd love to go into Chicago and straighten it out.
City and state leaders calling it all unnecessary, though a new Supreme Court ruling may limit their ability to push back. The High Court's conservative majority lifted restrictions on ICE operations in Los Angeles, putting a hold on a lower court ruling that blocked patrols and raids based on broad criteria like speaking Spanish. The White House rejecting critics' allegations of racial profiling, insisting ICE detentions are based on a multitude of factors. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, yesterday we brought you a story about the detainment of hundreds of South Korean nationals at a Hyundai facility in Georgia. The move is now putting America's relationship with South Korea in jeopardy, as lawyers for the workers assert they were here legally. Amy Kiley has details on that.
You'd be foolish not to think about this.
South Korea's top diplomat is in the U.S. today at a tense moment for relations between the countries. Foreign Affairs Minister Cho Hyun is visiting Washington as about 300 South Korean nationals are detained in Georgia. That's where ICE and other law enforcement raided a Hyundai plant last week. Korean Air says it could start flying home the detainees tomorrow.
ICE was doing right because they were here illegally.
An attorney for two of the detainees argues that's not the case for everyone ICE arrested.
Under the ESTA business visitor or the B1 business visitor program, you can come in and go to business meetings. You can do engineering oversight. You can do after sales service and installation, which is what these people were doing in the United States.
The raid is causing outrage in South Korea. Its businesses are investing billions in the U.S., much at the behest of President Donald Trump.
Obviously, they're going to have huge hesitation about investing in the U.S. if your employees are going to be treated like common criminals.
The Georgia plant is supposed to open next year as Hyundai's first U.S. facility dedicated to electric vehicles and batteries. Trump acknowledges setting it up requires workers with specialized skills.
We do have to work something out where we bring in experts so that our people can be trained so that they can do it themselves.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, Apple's biggest announcement of the year is happening today. The tech giant is expected to reveal the latest iPhone, Apple Watch, and iPods at its annual hardware event. The company is reportedly launching a new, slimmer iPhone 17 model in hopes of increasing sales. Some analysts also predict Apple could raise phone prices because of tariffs. The event kicks off at 10 o'clock in the morning from the company's headquarters in Cupertino. U.S. tariffs hit car companies hard in July. Auto industry consulting firm Anderson Economic Group said car makers paid more than $1.4 billion to import cars and car parts from Canada and Mexico. This comes after a 25% tariff on cars and car parts went into effect in April and May. General Motors, Stellantis, Ford, Tesla, and Hyundai assemble many of their vehicles in the U.S., but they import a number of parts from Canada and Mexico. The automakers paid nearly $300 million in tariffs on car parts in July. Oregon winemakers could soon get relief from rising costs as cork appears poised for exemption from the Trump administration's 15% tariffs on European Union products. NBC's Libby Downsett reports.
The cork may be quickly forgotten once the wine is flowing, but cork advocates say it's considered an unavailable natural product that's nearly entirely imported.
It's now grown in the United States. It's critical to the wine industry, which is a $140 billion a year, made in America industry.
Patrick Spencer from the Natural Cork Council shows off the bark of a cork oak tree.
I mean, this is dried. When it comes off the bark, off the tree, it is a little bit more spongy.
It comes primarily from Portugal and will soon join a small list of other items that are exempt from a 15% U.S. tariff on European products. In his executive order Friday, the president said exemptions and reductions are based on U.S. national interests.
70% of all winemakers in America use natural cork. Why shouldn't it be on the list?
Ponzi Vineyards is one of those wineries that depend on imported cork.
There are certain items that we simply can't source locally, including barrels that come from the forests of France most commonly, and cork that comes from Portugal.
Carrie Kelscher, Ponzi's chief brand officer, says they've seen costs rise 10 to 15% in the past few years, so any break they can get is a good one.
It does become a juggling act as our costs increase, our prices have to increase, and we continue to sort of price out that entry-level customer.
She said they depend on quality cork from the best trees, so that means paying a little more to protect their wine.
Cork failure can cost a winery up to 3% of their inventory.
But they're cautiously optimistic this tariff exemption will stick.
If it sticks, it's going to be massive, but it could change.
He says trade leaders are still working to make sure that exemption is in the final order.
To add a 15% tariff onto an industry that's already struggling doesn't really make sense if what we're trying to do is promote Made in America.
That was Libby Downset reporting. Well, the start of a new school year means thinking ahead to college for many high schoolers. If you're applying for scholarships, some of those deadlines are quickly approaching. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan has tips for applying for aid and how to avoid getting scammed.
The cost of college continues to skyrocket, with some private universities costing students close to $100,000 a year when you combine tuition and other costs. As those costs rise, more students are turning to financial aid. Last fiscal year, the U.S. Department of Education administered about $120 billion worth of federal student aid, including loans and work-study funds. Nearly 10 million students receiving it. There are several different types of financial scholarships and grants you can apply for, and experts warn to stick with legitimate government websites. The site for the free application for federal student aid form, known as FAFSA, ends in a .gov.
Legitimate scholarships will never ask you for an upfront payment.
Melanie Roller is the head of retail bank fraud at Capital One. She says scammers are getting smarter and more advanced. They'll use urgent language like, take action now.
Scammers know that this is a real dynamic, and that's why they are so persistent in trying to take advantage of students and their parents at this very vulnerable moment.
The Department of Education says you'll never be asked for a credit card number when filling out the FAFSA form online. If you are, that's a red flag.
It's very important to never share sensitive information that is in response to an unsolicited call, email, or text message.
If you do think you've been targeted in a scam, you can go to the Better Business Bureau's website. They have a tracking tool to report it and look up other complaints. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, earlier we showed you a photo of a location somewhere in the Coachella Valley, and I told you I'd show you that photo again and give you one more hint before we reveal the location at the end of our broadcast. So here's the photo, and here's the hint. This restaurant specializes in French cuisine. Think about that. We'll tell you more about this location coming up later in our broadcast. Next on your morning news, NBC Palm Springs' Caitlin Kelly breaks down all your local sports. But first, we're going to head over to Jerry in the Weather Center for a look at what's ahead in your forecast. Jerry?
Yeah, dew points and temperatures go down. Winds go up today. More on that coming up. Our NBC Palm Springs holiday countdown calendar. Less than 2 weeks to autumn. Yeah, 52 to Halloween. Thanksgiving's on the board here. Yeah, 79 days away. Forecast is next.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Is it time? Hello? Time for weather right now. Yes, okay, let's get everything ready here. We have, of course, hot temperatures yesterday, but the numbers begin to back off as we move through the next few days. Clear skies in our Agua Caliente Casino Cam. Yesterday we hit 107, 104 are normal. Today the numbers begin to back off. 65 degrees right now at Yucca Valley, a sunny 80 at Thousand Palms, 77 at the airport. Winds variable, but they'll pick up out of the west. More on that coming up. Okay, as far as clouds, most of it to the north of us associated with low pressure center and upper low, which is moving into the northern part of the state. Nothing in radar here or Southern California, but when you look close to that low, rain is beginning to move into Northern California. Now, we're not going to get any rain with that system. It stays to the north, moves its way to the east, but it will tighten up the pressure gradient, so the winds will get a little gusty late today. Also, drier air begins to move in too. It was kind of humid last couple of days. Well, that backs off. Now, winds will be at their strongest today. We're looking at 30-mile-an-hour sustained winds San Gorgonio Pass at around Desert Hot Springs. That backs off a little bit Wednesday, but areas like the wind-prone areas along and north of I-10 could get a little gusty with 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds there. Keep in mind these reds, we could see gusts into the 50-mile-an-hour range. That backs off on Thursday. As far as the wind advisory in effect for the very west end of the valley, San Gorgonio Pass, Erie Mountains, parts of the high desert, that expires at 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. As far as dew points and relative humidity, dry today. It'll be our driest day with middle of the day relative humidity close to 10%. Those numbers do move up a little bit, but still relatively dry. And as far as rain coverage today, it all stays to the north, mostly over the mountains. Highs include 102 tomorrow under sunshine, so the numbers do back off even more. That's for Palm Springs, 103 at Palm Desert. Overnight lows in the low to middle 70s under totally clear skies. And as far as Wednesday's concerned, below 100 degrees for most of us. Still a little gusty with those onshore winds. Keep that in mind. We'll call it warm instead of hot on Wednesday afternoon. Again, mostly sunny skies for the Coachella Valley. 97 degrees on Wednesday for Palm Springs, 98. That'll be Palm Desert, and then, yeah, middle 90s possible for many of us on Thursday. Okay, quick check of the tropics. Kiko, a former Category 4 major hurricane, now a tropical storm. It's kicking up the waves around the Hawaiian Islands as it makes its way to the north of the islands. It's a tropical storm, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and soon will move into the North Pacific and die out. But what about the future? This is a long-range wind forecast. Could see something develop Thursday or Friday, a tropical wave, kind of southwest of Acapulco. It will meander a little bit to the west, but then it becomes a hurricane, according to this forecast, by Monday or Tuesday, September 16th. Mario would be given its name. And then Narda could form just to the east of it, too. And the two do a dance, according to this forecast, as we move into the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of September. We'll keep an eye on that. Comfort Air 70 forecast, 102 today, 97 tomorrow. Keep in mind, gusty winds today and somewhat tomorrow. Thursday, 94 degrees for Palm Springs, sunshine. Friday, 97, still just below 100 degrees for the weekend.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos. We have your game.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caitlin Kelly, and the JW Marriott Desert Springs hosted some of the region's best junior golfers over the weekend for a PGA Junior League regional competition. The league draws tens of thousands of kids of varying ages and skill levels into the game each year and provides expert PGA and LPGA coaching. We caught up with some of the participants after the event.
It's just a great event. It's so much fun to be out here with this team, especially just getting to compete with them. A little hot, but yeah, it's just so much fun to be out here and play.
Some have been playing since they were 4. Some have just started, maybe a year ago or so. But all of them together to be on this team, this all-star team, is, like I said, just a big accomplishment for each one of them.
And did you see it? Yesterday was the premiere of Firebirds Off the Ice, hosted by our very own Tim O'Brien. The show takes you behind the scenes of your favorite local pro hockey team, from superfans, commentators, and even the AHL's best feathered mascot, Fuego. If you didn't catch it on our airwaves yesterday, don't worry. Simply go to the NBC Palm Springs website, click on the program tab, and look for Off the Ice. And it goes without saying, we had a full slate of NFL games on Sunday, but Saturdays are for collegiate football. And that's when we saw College of the Desert hit the gridiron for their first home game of the season. And this COD roster, it's full of familiar faces and a ton of homegrown talent. Take a look.
The names you cheered for under the Friday night lights are now turning heads on Saturdays. Still repping the desert, but now on the collegiate stage at College of the Desert.
It's a great feeling to be back home, man. I started since I was 7 playing on this field, so it's definitely electrifying to be back on the field.
His first home game back here in the school where he played his collegiate, played his high school football at. So he's really excited about it, and I expected him to really shine tonight.
With COD's stadium still under renovation, the Roadrunners are calling Cathedral City High School their temporary home. A true homecoming for O'Shea Wallace and a full circle moment for several teammates who once battled under those same Friday night lights.
Rivals on the same team. I think it's pretty cool because we already know what they're about. And so then you know how they're going to play and what you're expected to play. So I think us coming together, it's like a unit, I would say.
This Roadrunners roster reads like a who's who of local high school football stars. Along with O'Shea Wallace and Aiden Nsubiga, wide receivers Aaron Ramirez, the all-time leading rusher from Coachella Valley High, and Ryland Risk from Palm Desert are also key contributors.
I think it's a great, I think the idea of College of the Desert, get all the high school guys in the Valley to get to come here and play. I think it's a fantastic idea because everyone here you can just build new relationships with, and players like TJ Bosley goes to Xavier up the street. He's one of my better friends, so it's just you would have never saw it happening, knowing the Cook Street rivalry and stuff. So I just think it's really cool, and I've become really close with a lot of these guys from the desert.
Well, that'll do it for sports. I'm Caitlin Kelly.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
A new movie in theaters this weekend features a group of young men out for a walk, but it's based on a novel by Stephen King, so you know it's not that simple. David Daniel has a look.
I ain't many that are built like me. I'm the last of my kind.
We did the very first long walk years ago to inspire everyday people.
Smile, boys. You're on candid camera.
Young men in a dystopian America hoping for fame and fortune volunteer for an endurance contest in The Long Walk.
First warning. Okay, just keep walking. That's right. Just keep walking. Yeah, that's it, kid. That's it. Second warning. Third warning.
Mark Hamill, who plays the Major lording over the contest, says he was drawn in by the relatability of the story.
How would I react if I were on this long walk? Would I be able to do it? What would I do? Knowing that the only winner is the person who survives, that you have a good chance of being dead before it's over. Yeah, it took me a while to realize the truth of this. This is walk or die.
From day one, they did it in complete continuity, so you could see the progression of them starting out bright and fresh and clean to haggard and filthy and degraded.
For some, your heart will stop. For others, your brain.
Hamill drew inspiration for the Major from his childhood on a naval base.
I would see these guys going through their calisthenics or whatever under the barking orders of these insane sergeants. The same glasses and just inhuman.
There's one winner. And no finish line.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
We're going to head outside for a more positive look here at your Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. What a beautiful start to the morning. We'll be right back with a recap of your weather forecast and reveal our Where in the Valley special location. Stay right here.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
It's time now to reveal our special location for our broadcast today. Did you guess where this is? This is the French Rotisserie Cafe in Palm Desert. It's right off Highway 111 in the Town Center Way Shopping Center. They specialize in, yep, you guessed it, French cuisine. Our producer Harrison says their French onion soup is amazing, and I will second that. Let's take one last look at your forecast with Jerry now in the Weather Center. Jerry.
Yeah, the pressure gradient tightening up because of a low pressure centered to the north and a high to our southeast. 101 to 105, the numbers come down, dew points come down, but the winds kick up. We have a wind advisory around the west end of the valley, San Gorgonio Pass area mountains, and 90s begin Wednesday.
Love those double digits. I'm not sure if you can hear me. There we go. That does it for us. We'll have more news for you coming up at 11 on your midday news. Jerry and I will see you back here tomorrow morning at 6. Have a great day.